Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, there is breaking news as we come on the air. The deadly shooting in an ice rink. Players and fans running for cover. An explosion of gunfire. The chaos ensuing. Tonight, the victims and what we know about the gunman so far. Also breaking, the search for Nancy Guthrie. Late today, the sheriff revealing all family members have been cleared in her disappearance. And investigators tonight on that possible break in the case. The male DNA found on a glove. And Savannah Guthrie tonight, her pain visible as she posts a new message now to the person who took her mother.
And it is never too late to do the right thing.
We'll go live to Aaron Katursky and what he's learned tonight. Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall has died, the legendary actor remembered tonight.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
His iconic roles in The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and Tender Mercies, and the role he said was his favorite. Tonight we're tracking two dangerous storms hitting heavy rain, possible flooding, and strong winds. Ginger Z is here to time this out. Tonight, just in, the new fallout over the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The big name tonight stepping down from his job. And this evening, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and what she said late today about the Epstein case. Tonight, the father now on trial, facing charges for buying his son the AR-15 style rifle that son then allegedly used to kill two students and two teachers, what played out in court. Dramatic moments as a woman escapes a U-Haul, getting away. The massive house explosion tonight igniting homes in the neighborhood, the rush to evacuate. America Strong, this 6-year-old girl smashing records tonight. You won't believe how many Girl Scout cookies she's now sold. And Team USA, the women's hockey team, now going for gold. And the deeply personal post tonight just in from the Quad God and what he reveals after that heartbreaking performance.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is
Team Canada's major Olympic triumphs the Monday night. A gold medal finish, a gold scoring record smashed, and celebration for a silver. Complaints pile up about Toronto's snow removal.
I don't think they've done a reasonable job clearing.
The potential hazards and what's in the forecast. Plus, bidding farewell to a member of Hollywood royalty.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall's indelible commitment to his craft.
Global National with Donna Friesen, reporting tonight, and Gapiola.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Team Canada's medal count got a big boost today with 2 more podium finishes. Speed skater Courtney Saroux captured the country's 10th medal, earning a silver in 1,000-meter short track. And later, freestyle skier Megan Alden got us a gold in big air. Mike Armstrong is in Milan covering the Olympics for us. Mike?
Well, and in the big air competition, each skier gets 3 runs, their best 2 count. Well, Megan Oldham didn't need her third. Oldham's scores on the first 2 runs were enough to hold on to first place. The 24-year-old finished 4th 4 years ago. She is now the Olympic champion. Speed skater Courtney Saroux added a 3rd medal to her tally Monday. Going into the 1,000 meters, she was the top-ranked skater in the world and was out for gold. Well, on the 6th lap, she took a turn a bit too wide and was passed by 2 skaters. Saroux caught one of them and crossed the line second. After the race, Saroux said she regretted how she reacted after the finish. Her disappointment was visible. She said it made her look like a sore loser. Well, within a few minutes, the smile was back. As for going home with a gold, Saroux still has 2 chances. She'll be in the 1,500 meters and the women's 3,000 meters relay. Now, the Canadian men's relay team was back on the ice Monday. They held off a late challenge, finishing first in their semifinal for the 5,000 meters. They'll go in the final Friday. Now, there was no fairy tale ending for Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps in figure skating. Just back from injury and the oldest skater in a century, was an accomplishment just making it back to the competition. The other Canadian pair went into the free skate in third, but both stumbled and fell out of contention. Now, one of the medal hopefuls remaining for Canada this week is Cassie Sharp in the snowboard halfpipe. We're going to have a look at her journey a little later in the show and how the two-time medalist is back for more, but this time as a mom. Anne?
Mike Armstrong in Milan, Italy. Thank you. The Canadian women's hockey team will face the U.S. in the gold medal final after beating Switzerland today. Canada beat the Swiss team 2-1 in the semifinal matchup. Team captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored both goals for Canada, and she even broke a record. The 34-year-old became the all-time leading goal scorer in Olympic women's hockey, a record previously held by Canadian Hayley Wickenheiser. It's been more than 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie, disappeared from her Arizona home, and there remain few promising leads. Today, local authorities cleared all members of the Guthrie family as suspects in her disappearance. And as Jackson Prosco reports, Savannah Guthrie is now pleading with whoever abducted her mother to do the right thing.
We still have hope. And we still believe.
In a new Instagram post, NBC's Savannah Guthrie issued a fresh plea to whoever may have abducted her 84-year-old mother.
It's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing.
More than 2 weeks after Nancy Guthrie disappeared, investigators have no known leads. Only this frightening security camera video from Guthrie's video doorbell, showing a masked man wearing gloves and a backpack obscuring the camera.
That's really what we're focused on. We got to find that guy. Right now, he's who we want. Somebody out there knows who this is.
Over the weekend, a pair of gloves found about 3 kilometers from Guthrie's home were tested and found to have the DNA of an unknown person. Police say the gloves appear to match those worn by the masked person in the video.
If they're able to match the DNA.
All right, here's what we know. At least one glove was sent for DNA testing after being found about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. It arrived at a private lab in Florida on Friday, and the preliminary results show a DNA profile of an unknown male. Official results will be submitted to the FBI DNA database. And the FBI now saying that the glove does appear to match the suspect's gloves in the footage from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera.
Former Assistant FBI Director Chris Walker joins us now. Chris, thank you for joining us. What are your thoughts on this glove and how seriously we should take this as a potential break in the case?
Well, I mean, what we have to hope is it is, in fact, the glove worn by the suspect, and that we get a quick CODIS hit, meaning that it matches up with someone who is in the CODIS database. Now, that database contains arrestees, people who have been convicted of crimes, and samples from crime scenes or profiles from crime scenes. So that could be game, set, match if that is in fact the glove, because it is certain, if it's the glove, that the suspect's DNA profile will be on the inside. Then the question is, will Nancy's DNA be on the outside? And that could be very likely.
So, Chris, once there is a confirmed match, assuming that in this case there will be, can they just arrest the person immediately with just that DNA match? Is that enough probable cause to say you're under arrest?
It might be. For probable cause purposes, they'll do everything they can to corroborate that with cell phone analysis, video analysis from the camera video, the video on the doorbell, which has a lot of data points with it, and all the other data that they have. So I think there's a lot of room to corroborate what they have, the height, the weight, that type of thing. If you assume that this person...
This is Sky News, the headlines. 50 new turns from the government. The Prime Minister ditches plans to delay 30 council elections. Nigel Farage takes the credit for it.
They came, they clapped. It's a victory for reform, but more importantly, it's a victory for democracy in this country.
Police find DNA in a glove linked to a masked stranger in the kidnapping of US presenter Savannah Guthrie's mother. What parents need to know about measles as an outbreak spreads across North London.
Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Famous for his roles in Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, Hollywood says goodbye to Robert Duvall, one of the greatest actors of all time. Hello and welcome. Sir Keir Starmer has been in Downing Street for 19 months and by our count, he's made 15 major U-turns. He's now decided not to cancel local council elections in May after a court challenge from Reform UK leader Nigel Farage. This is what he had to say.
Well, it was extraordinary. I mean, last year we saw cancellations of elections without any real exceptional reason. This year, up to 30 councils, 4.6 million people denied the vote. In some cases, Norfolk, Suffolk, East and West Sussex, this would have been the second year in a row that people who are paying their council tax would have been denied the chance to vote. So that's why we took them to the High Court. We were due there this Thursday. They've caved, they've collapsed. It's a victory for reform, but more importantly, it's a victory for democracy in this country. We are delighted.
Our political correspondent Mari Aurora has the latest from Westminster.
When this was announced that Labour were going to postpone these council elections, there were lots of cries of, anti-democratic decision-making from opposition parties. And that's because opposition parties were saying, hold on a second, we need all of these, over 4.5 million people to be able to have their right to vote the way they should be in terms of the democratic cycle of local elections. And that was going to be postponed, and they were arguing that that was not a fair and democratic way of holding elections. And essentially this U-turn is because of new legal advice that the government has received, in which lawyers have warned them that it would be illegal for them to postpone these 30 areas where they were going to be having council elections. And it's really all because the government has been bounced into this by Reform UK and their legal action. They were having legal action against the UK government, specifically on these elections, saying that it was undemocratic, and the fact that actually those people needed to have the right to express themselves and express if they were pro or against this Labour government. And what's really interesting is at the time the decision was made, and for many, many months after, the government continually argued the reason they were doing this was because they were checking government structures. They were potentially, for instance, abolishing certain smaller councils and creating kind of larger unitary councils. And their argument was, what is the point in having an election for a council that might only exist? I view.
Today, one person dead and 2 others critically injured after a stabbing in Sydney's. The government says it won't help repatriate Australians linked to Islamic State after a group was sent back to a detention camp in Syria. And windy conditions across the state. And died at the age of 95. Person has died and 2 others. People serious injuries. 1 victim died at the scene and 2 others have been taken to hospital in a critical condition. And we are standing by to bring you an update from authorities. A man has been arrested and taken to Granville Police Station. Let's go there now.
This area command. So approximately 10 a.m. today, police responded to reports of a number of people having been stabbed on Marylands Road in Marylands. Police attended and located 3 people with apparent wounds. Police assisted paramedics to treat the injured parties. Unfortunately, 1 male was pronounced deceased at the scene. Another 2 victims were treated by ambulance paramedics.
Morning, here are the headlines this hour. Bangladesh's interim leader, Muhammad Yunus, steps down, ending the caretaker administration formed after the 2024 upheaval. Tariq Rahman, the scion of political dynasty, is set to serve as Prime Minister of the incoming government when it's sworn in today. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says he hopes for a fair and equitable deal with the U.S. as he arrives in Geneva. President Trump said he will be involved indirectly in the negotiations, warning Iran of, quote, the consequences of not also in Geneva, trying the Ukraine issue Ukraine's territories. And galloping in the year of the horse, millions around the world celebrate with feasts, fireworks, and traditional festivals. That is the latest from the CNN newsroom.
It's Asia Now.
Second Hong Kong 6:30 and 8 Jakarta. Good morning, I'm Arnold Gay. In this hour, Bangladesh's interim leader, Muhammad Yunus, steps down, ending the caretaker administration formed after the 2024 upheaval. Tariq Rahman, the scion of political dynasty, is set to serve as Prime Minister of the incoming government when it's sworn in today. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says he hopes for a fair and equitable deal with the U.S. as he arrives in Geneva for nuclear talks. The U.S. deploys warships and aircraft carriers in the Middle East, and Iran holds drills in the waterways which carry 20% of the world's oil. Also in Geneva, trilateral talks between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky says Moscow is preparing another massive strike, while the Kremlin states the delegations will specifically discuss the most complicated issue, Ukraine's territories. And galloping into the year of the horse, millions around the world celebrate with feasts, fireworks, and traditional festivals.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has met with Hungary's populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban in Budapest. Political observers see the visit as a campaign boost for Orban, whose Fidesz party is trailing behind the opposition in the polls ahead of elections in April. Rubio said U.S. President Trump is committed to Orban's success and indicated that Washington might help Budapest financially if needed. Israel's approval of a process to register land in the West Bank as state property. EU has Israel to reverse measure, warning that it is illegal under international law. Palestinians call it a form of de facto annexation. Oscar-winning actor and director Robert Duvall has died. Duvall is
on France 24. Thanks for joining us. See you again.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
Hello, this is Night Watch here on France 24. The headlines. Emmanuel Macron touches down in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to host the French president for a 3-day visit to India aimed at strengthening bilateral trade and deepening defense ties. A new turn in the Jeffrey Epstein saga here in France. Investigators raiding the offices of former culture minister Jacques Lang over his links to the sex offender. The fallout has already forced Lang out of his job as the head of the Arab World Institute. And tributes pouring in for the Oscar-winning Hollywood actor Robert Duvall.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.